I've recently been given a book of discovery for the Isle of Skye. Flicking through its pages, I happened to notice that there is a shipwreck called the Mary Grimes, the old boat wreck of the Mary Grimes, located in Duart Bay on the Isle of Skye. Now, I haven't heard of either the names of the shipwreck or even Duart Bay, but a shipwreck on the Isle of Skye, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Something for Gaz and I to go and check out. Now, this is where the start of the journey gets really interesting, because I did a little bit of research in Google, as you do, and I couldn't find Duart Bay in Google or in Google Maps. Well, Duart Bay for the Isle of Skye, it doesn't exist. Duart Bay doesn't exist on OS Maps either, and yet it clearly states in the book that the Mary Grimes Shipwreck is located at Duart Bay at the Isle of Skye. So already I'm on a hide into nothing. Furthermore, the boat wreck, the Mary Grimes Shipwreck, doesn't appear anywhere in Google either. Now that's got me thinking. I'm going to go and check. I'm going to follow the instructions as per this book and see for myself if this boat wreck, if this shipwreck, the shipwreck of the Mary Grimes really exists. So do me a favour, join me on this lovely adventure. There isn't much happening in this very peaceful location other than the occasional lobster boat arriving to unload their catch on the makeshift pontoon to your left. In fact, let's be honest, Duart Bay itself isn't really a very photogenic location to be with your camera. So most people visiting here have a quick look around and then drive away again, but there is a very photographic hidden away gem just around the rocks along the shoreline and over to your right. It's not a bad start to the adventure, guys. Look at that. But according to me and my calculations, this is the rather incredible Duart Bay. According to my calculations, that is. Now, if we're lucky enough to find this shipwreck, apparently it's only visible at low tide, so we've got a couple hours to wait. So I think we'll probably have a cup of coffee, have a little lunch, and then have a wander around and see what else we can find, because I'm sure we could quite well be treated to one or two nice compositions and nice shots, as long as this rain stops. Follow this path and continue around the corner until you come to a fence and a small metal gate. Go through the gate, making sure you close it securely so the livestock do not wander off. That'll be the chickens then. And continue on around the rocks until you see the old wooden wreck of the Mary Grimes to your left. quite special, isn't it? Look at that. What a real treat. Well, guys, that's it.
That's it, yeah. That's your wreck.
That's it. We found the shipwreck. It's there. It exists. Oh,
Hey.
wow, it's huge. And what a real treat that is. Oh, that old shipwreck, the boat, everything you see in the background, just incredible. So I think we'll probably wait a short while for the rain to stop, perhaps grab a quick cup of coffee, which is always a good thing to do, and then we'll go down and see what we can make of that damn shipwreck, because that is pretty special. Guys, how cool is that?
I don't know which is the better looking of the two old wrecks.
Well, that on me.
Yeah.
The yellow seaweed all around it that's intermingled into the shipwreck as well. It just looks fantastic. Wow. I'm even thinking long lens from here and grab that. But look at this location. How awesome is that? Look at the old gate. Fence in the water. And a background that looks quite splendid. This place has just got everything.
I'm a bit worried about setting off to sea in this one. There's only a little shower.
So this is known as one of two names then, the Duart Bay Shipwreck. This being Duart Bay, I'm guessing. Not on any maps, not even on the OS maps like I mentioned earlier. And yet here we are. And the shipwreck, the old wooden shipwreck of Mary Grimes. How awesome does that sound? Seriously. Forget the awesomeness of how it sounds. Look at the awesomeness of it. That's just... I can't see any wood, by the way, in terms of a boat wreck, because it's just been consumed by all of this green seaweed. It is incredible. What a find. This place is... Well, put it this way, I've just had an excitable wee and I've not had one of them for a long time. Right, next I'll give you guys a quick tour around the boat, and then I'll grab my camera and I'll see if I can do this princess some justice. Look at that contrasting against the lime green moss on that rope. That's incredible. I promise you, there's no colour changing in post-production being done with any of this footage that you're seeing now. God. And out there, well, Now what I'm finding myself doing, because of the shape and structure of the shipwreck, I'm finding myself just photographing a shipwreck, and that is what I always tell people not to do. I always tell people to photograph a scene with a subject in it, i.e. if you're going to photograph a lone tree, don't just go and photograph a lone tree, photograph a scene with a subject in it. In that case it would be a lone tree, to show how grand the lone tree is in the scene. But because of the shape and the nature and where it's sat, I'm finding it very difficult to place this shipwreck in a scene. So what I first thought I'd do is grab my longer lens, go further back, because it's a huge shipwreck. Now because it's a huge shipwreck, what I thought my best option would be is, if I am going to photograph a boat wreck, I threw my long lens on, I went further back so I could compress the boat and try and cram everything into the scene, because obviously it is a very, very big boat wreck. But when I do that, all I'm getting is bits of wood covered in seaweed, and it doesn't really look like a shipwreck. I think my best option to go back to the position I was standing in when I first saw the boat wreck, because it was slightly elevated, and I think if I shoot down onto the boat, it will show the boat wreck in a scene, as opposed to me just photographing a boat wreck. Even though it's super bright for you guys, I'm going to throw you guys in camera now, so let you guys have a look of what I'm looking at. Might be a bit dark for you guys. There you go, just brighten it up a bit. And this is so important for you guys to note as well. The top of the mountain is way too close to the edge of the frame, and the bottom of the boat is way too close to the bottom edge of the frame. So one of two things: one, shift my ass further back, which I'll probably do, or two, change lenses. Well, I think whilst I've got this lens on the camera, I'm going to go further back. I've got plenty of room to go further back. I'm going to go further back and see if I can stick with this composition, but give myself a bit more breathing space around the edges of the frame. I've come back far enough now to give myself enough space under the boat and on top of the mountain. Now, the sky, very, very bright. The mountains are actually being backlit, as is this boat. To a certain degree, the sun is in and out of the clouds. So all I'm going to do is bracket, grab 3 shots, 2 stops over, 2 stops under, blend them together and see what I can create. There's streams of water running around the boat, but none of them really offer me a leading line. They're sideways on, so I tried to utilize those as well in the frame, but they're just not working. I'll tell you what though, look at this bad boy behind me. I know you saw it earlier in the video, but that is also another boat wreck. I don't think they're going to repair. It's full of holes underneath. It looks fairly decent, by the way, but I think over time that's just going to sit there and rot. And obviously, judging by all the seaweed around here, the tide comes up. So what I might even do this. It's 2:30. High tide is at 7:45 tonight. Sunset is about 6:45. But it's spring tide. It's one of the highest tides of the year tonight. So I think an hour before high tide, the water would probably be up high enough to cover this boat wreck and possibly sit around this boat wreck behind me. I think this place could possibly look very, very different indeed in a few hours time from now. So I think I might push my luck and hang around. Right, let's grab this shot. So as you can see, the Mary Grimes Shipwreck here at Duart Bay has well and truly been consumed. Gaz and I have been here for 6.5 hours. It's been a really exhaustive one. I'm not sure if the pictures are worth the length of time we spent here, but it's not the pictures that count today. It's about discovering somewhere new and having some fun, and that challenge of trying to make the all-encompassing best shot that you've ever taken. Of course, that is what landscape photography is all about. So the tide is all around the last boat wreck that's behind me, and there's another hour or so of tide still to come in. So this is going to be totally consumed. So what we're going to do now is, because my camera is not particularly the best at filming when it gets dark, we're going to call it here. As far as you guys are concerned, I'm going to stay here, Gaz is going to stay here, and we're going to try and make the best of this as and when the tide comes up a little bit higher. So as far as I'm concerned, that's me done here. All that's left me to say is thank you very much indeed. As always, thank you very much indeed for watching. Help support the channel. Give that like button a bit of a nudge and subscribe if you want to check out some of my old content. From Gaz and myself at this wonderful place called Duart Bay that doesn't really exist. I hope you enjoy the pictures. Cheers.